But
By the way, Jack, I did just refer to you as the king of Nebraska fans. Your thoughts?
sure, I mean that's fine. I don't know. Probably not for football. All I do is make football fans mad at me anymore. I just fight with. I'm more fighting with football fans than being the king of them at this point. But maybe that's what kings do. Maybe that's kind of
Joffrey Baratheon. He fought with his.
Maybe it's kind of
poisoned and his head got all big and purple.
It's sort of like it's like there's the enemy within, right? Mm-hmm. The people I'm the king of, and then I need to control them as the king. Perhaps now that you mention it, maybe that is good. Yeah.
So what are the plebes?
Wow. What are your minions saying?
What are your plebes doing that is making his highness so angry?
There's so many things. I don't even.
What's the number one thing? What is the number one thing you have been fighting this weekend?
This weekend? I don't know. Yeah. This week, since the UCLA game ended, I mean, the latest thing is the response. You guys see the big Colin Miller tweet thread about the crowd?
Yep. You've been arguing about that?
Yeah, that's the latest. Yeah.
And what's been the argument there?
Oh, I mean, I think he's got a point. I think there's a portion of which that he's got a point, but there is a real kind of hazy spot between blaming fans, right, and saying, well, you are missing an opportunity to produce a home field advantage, basically.
Yeah, well, I think it's always a bad look, especially now, When you have a team that plays this inconsistent, I'm sorry.
John has always been someone who says you don't have to go there and support him.
No. If you're disgusted by what you see, you don't have to support it. You just don't. And I'm sad to say that there just feels like for some people, there's just this obligation that they have to do it. No, you don't have to do it. You also don't have to yell your head off on every single play. And when a team spends 13 minutes of the first quarter on the field, that's why we talk about, man, if you got a running game on the road, you can take the crowd out of the game.
And they did.
And that's what happened.
We've got so many. Oh God, I didn't want to go down this road. I don't want to go down this road. Josh, I don't want to go down this road. Why are you bringing me down this road?
I didn't know John did.
I asked the question.
Whoever's bringing me down this road, will you freaking stop? I don't want to go down there. I'm going to piss everybody off. I'm going to get pissed.
You took me down this road.
Ask me about something else.
I asked you, King, what's the thing that's got the plebes, all the peasants all riled up, and you told me.
I'm mad about the team. I hate how the fans act. I hate everything right now. It's all terrible. The games themselves annoy me. The reactions to the games annoy me. Everything does.
Can we agree on one thing? Can we agree on one thing? That when a team has now delivered 2 of its worst losses under its head coach in the span of 3 games, it is never a good look to say, well, but if the fans had only shown up, then it would be better. Well, that's a bad look, and that's why I think what Colin Miller did was stupid. There you go. There's my take.
I bet you think last year when Alabama went into Auburn was having a terrible season, having a rough season. Alabama came in. Do you think that place was dead? Things hadn't been going very well. Probably pretty pissed at the coach. I would be. He's on the hot seat, right? Probably, think that place was dead.
What's the point? That's a rivalry game, so it's hard to compare the two.
Well, Wisconsin's coming up.
Well, great. I guess we can all stand out there and we can say, now fans, I know that this team right now that you're watching is pretty mentally weak, and God knows what kind of a start they're going to get off to. And if they get off to a bad start, they're going to go into their shell again. But you all better start yelling right at the beginning of this game.
I'm just saying.
At the end of this game, I would like to blame you. People have sold out this godforsaken place for 403 straight times and have been given a terrible return on investment.
Was that a question?
No, that was a point. That was a point. Again, it's never a good look when your team plays like that and said, well, but if the fans had been just a little bit better, we might have done better. The fans wouldn't have made a damn bit of difference. That's my point.
Joel writes in, Jack. So Jack was on Bo's side on the first audio tape?
No comment.
No comment.
Next topic. No
no-
comment. Next topic.
What was the second thing that you got all the people out?
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that will make everybody mad too. So,
What's that?
Josh, you know what it is. I don't want to do this.
for the
Let's talk
radio
about
audience.
new things.
What do you want to talk about with Husker football?
Nothing. It's terrible. Nothing. I'm hoping they can somehow win another game this year. But I mean, even if I suggest that that's, I have hope for it. It's got a 1 in a million chance. I've got people jumping on me to tell me how terrible things are, which I already freaking know because I live it constantly. You don't have to sell to me that things suck. Quit trying to convince me that things suck. I got it. I don't need you to correct me and freaking doomsplain to me every time that I show a modicum of fan normal hope or positivity or finding anything to just slam it down and make sure it dies because we can't let it grow. Oh God, false hope and false optimism about anything. It's not like I'm going out there and waving the flag and saying they're going to kick everyone's ass. I'm saying, maybe they can figure out how to get one more win because things change here. But no, I got a bunch of people who are going to doomsplain Jack. He doesn't understand when things are bad. He thinks things are awesome right now. Oh, look at him. He probably enjoyed that game. He thought they had a bunch of great plays. He's probably excited about Heinrich. Because he's a native Nebraskan, and that's what Jack likes. He loves it. He's got romanticism about Carney. That's what he's doing.
My parents are.
Well, you want to know why I'm in a bad mood? That's why. And I'm pissing everybody off. And what? I can't help it.
That'd be a heck of a way, if you're, whoever wins this election tomorrow, and they ask a question about the Middle East, and they say, you know what? I don't want to talk about it. I'm tired of talking about it. Every time I say I have a plan, people don't want to hear what I have to say. Yeah. They don't want to say it. That's what they should do.
I'm going to indicate that there exists perhaps a scenario where it's not the absolute end of the world, but when I do that, I get met with such condescending resistance. It's not just resistance; it's condescending resistance.
Condescending drives me nuts.
Condescending resistance. I promise you, I will not have any condescending resistance. But what is it that you see that doesn't allow you to shut the door of hope?
I don't think it's 100% chance they're going 0-3. Is that what I mean? Because they are playing, because it's college football and things change wildly every week with teams constantly. Freaking constantly.
It's changed wildly with this team.
Constantly. This team, every team.
Yeah, so Clemson lost by $1 billion to Louisville.
I mean, it's every week. So that's the biggest reason, John. Right? So the assumption that the last game is going to be a carbon copy of every game going forward is always wrong. It's always wrong. Now they might lose all three, but it's not going to be a carbon copy because it never is. But you indicate that something might be different. Everybody will condescendingly resist.
So it's the general randomness of college football and
that's part of it. You're playing teams. You're playing. The next two games are against teams that might be amazingly in as bad of a mental space as Nebraska is, which is kind of shocking given what I just did.
I wouldn't disagree. I would not disagree.
Hey, Wisconsin is its own version of a tire fire right
Wisconsin
now.
Is, and
Lincoln
USC.
Riley's a little baby about everything. He whines to the media every day.
I mean,
was good.
Certainly, you've got a couple of. I mean, we could call this the mentally weak bowl.
Oh yeah,
next week and the week after.
Okay, and then my only other. I don't know. Listen, none of my arguments are going to involve the offense getting great, getting good. Whatever. So I don't. That's got to be. I don't see how that works.
But you still buy into the defense to some degree.
Sometimes,
right?
I mean, they can pressure. They generally can pressure the quarterback. They generally can pressure quarterbacks, and they've had their moments during the course of this year. And so I think there's a possibility they can win an Iowa style game, not necessarily against Iowa, but do an Iowa style game against someone. Like I don't know that as bad as Indiana and UCLA were, Ohio State was in the middle of it, right? As bad as Illinois was, there was Colorado. So, like, I'm not of the belief that it's completely now broken and they're going to give up, 30 points to every team that they play the rest of the year. They might, but I'm not totally sold. I'm not totally sold on them being unable to win a game here going forward. And, both Wisconsin and Iowa are playing with quarterbacks that are a quarterback situation that is kind of unique, right? Somebody that hasn't played the entire year.
Well, Iowa's
that
found
plays
the
into it too.
Crouch,
well, he's playing well. Yeah, he's playing well, obviously.
They had like 93 passing yards and scored 42 points.
Wild. Absolutely wild.
Right.
But they also had the weird loss to Michigan State. So, like, in Jack's defense, I mean, even Iowa has
listen, I will hear, Jack. I will meet you halfway there on the USC and the Wisconsin, but I trust that Iowa will show up because they always do. I mean, that's one thing about that program is you never have to worry usually about effort with them. That I don't think they're going to be in their feels. But the next two games, absolutely. I will meet you halfway on that. Absolutely. Do I think they'll win them? No. Based on what I've seen from this football team, probably not. Yeah. But you never know.
Jack, what did you think?
Hold on. That alone is the most positive thing I've heard from most anyone is that you never know. Right. You're not just like destroying me for even believing a chance in the world exists. No.
I'm destroying you for destroying the fans, but not for
nice. Hey, Jack,
you're crushing them.
What did you? Yeah,
pouring lava over the edge.
Find a famous king who starved his constituents. That's Jack Mitchell. Jack, what did you make of the Matt Rule presser today? And the okay.
I don't know, man. I can't psychoanalyze this crap anymore. I can't do it. Show me against you. I'll tell you after the USC game. I don't care. I don't know. I don't care.
Okay.
Don't know. Don't care. I mean, I can't. Everybody else has got that covered now.
You don't have any opinions on? You have no opinions on it? Like, did you find it interesting?
I was interested in Raiola's health. That was of interest to me.
You weren't interested at all in whether or not he threw the players under the bus or any of that stuff?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, John, you're up.
Let me let me throw this at you because
I'm not.
Because I said as we were going to break,
yeah,
that it feels like the ship has left the dock and we're headed for the same rough waters that we've faced the last several coaching administrations. And I say that not necessarily because
you're rubbing it in Jack's face.
I'm not.
No, I agree with that. Here we go. Can anybody wait? Woo!
But not from the standpoint of I necessarily think that, Matt Rule is trending towards, getting fired. But just based on the discourse that has come into us.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems as if a lot of the anger or the angst is starting now to transition from Satterfield to Rule. That, okay, you had your chance to do something with this guy. It doesn't sound like you're going to do anything with this guy. And so now we're pointing it back on you. And that's where I'm a little concerned that we're starting to, tread those same waters again.
Once the coach critique snowball starts rolling, it never stops.
Yeah.
It's now rolling.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. That's why I said, when you ask me about what he said, it doesn't matter. I mean, everything is going to be taken in the worst way possible. And maybe it's deserved in some cases. Maybe it's not, but I mean, there's nothing right now. Making changes to the coaching staff that moment or play calling duties, that probably would have made some people happy. But beyond that, there's nothing you can say to get your way out of any of this. That's why I don't care. You can't say the right thing and get out of any of this, no matter.
So you're
what
just
it
wanting,
is.
in a way, you're like not wanting to fast forward to the end of the year, but you also are just so you can get past the discussion about like Satterfield. I wish he would have said, "Hey, we're making a change in how we're doing play calling." Yeah, I wish he would have done that. It definitely would have pleased a lot of people. I mean, I'd just be interested in seeing it at this point. I frankly don't know that
I think people may inflate that as the singular issue. And we might find that out if he did.
Oh, hey, I'll push back against that a little bit. Don't people want them to make a move in season, like right now? Not because they think it's going to turn the offense into some juggernaut, but two things. A, it can't get any worse, which, it always can, but that's one part of it. But also B, just like it signifies that you give a crap and you're like,
I don't disagree with that.
I don't
disagree with that. I don't disagree with that.
I keep hearing people saying, what do you think? It's going to make the offense better? And my answer is no, I don't.
Well, there are some people who definitely think that. There's some people who definitely
I'm sure. I don't. I just think that's probably a good idea because it proves that you care and that you are not going to stand for this anymore, even if it's going to be symbolic. But I like symbolic gestures.
I agree with all that. Okay. Yeah, I thought there were some scuttlebutt that might happen today, and I was, I don't know, I was looking forward to seeing, and sometimes you just make changes, right? And it just energizes everyone for whatever reason.
And so I would hold back on the idea that it won't do any good. I think there is always the potential for it to get better to a degree. And let's face it, at this point, how
much worse can you get?
If you could just maybe get one more score per game,
fair,
you can win.
Fair.
If you can get one more score per game.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a change in play calling responsibilities can help that in some way.
Yeah. Just to be clear, John, I'm not discounting that it would. I'm not saying there's no way it would do anything. I do think that there are people who think that is the very, very the primary problem with the offense. And I see problems everywhere right now with the offense. I mean, I kind of would feel the same if they were making some personnel changes right now in terms of, hey, we're going to see some different guys out there, right? At a whole bunch of different positions.
What would that look like?
I'd be interested. Well, I mean, let's be. My thought, and he was not healthy, obviously, at that point. But my thought after Raiola had been struggling so badly, throwing the pick six, and I knew Harburg. I certainly didn't want to see Raiola hurt. Hope he's okay. Hope he's back for USC when he's healthy. He's the guy to start. He's the guy for the future. Disclaimer done. Okay. In that moment in the UCLA game, I was ready to see if Harburg. I would say I was. I don't know if relieved is the right word, but I was like, okay, I'm interested and okay with seeing Harburg right now in this last drive as compared to Raiola with where he is right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be, that's what I'm referring to, Josh. I'm not sure if that was your question exactly, but
I was wondering more because, like, I knew that you felt that way, and I think a lot of people probably did on Saturday, where it was like, you know what, I'm interested to see what the offense looks like right now with a guy who's a bit more mobile.
Just a change, yeah.
Is there any others? Is there any other
change
players that you're like, and I'd love to see a different guy there?
Different
receivers,
different running backs, receivers. I mean, I don't know who's on the roster that you can even go to at those positions, but I mean. I don't know. Is putting Gabe Irvin in there going to make a difference? I don't know, but we haven't seen it, right? Is bringing Malachi on there to block on the edge when nobody can block on the edge?
Carter Nelson,
something that I know is going to work. Carter Nelson at that point is, if we're blocking on the edge. I'm not sure how much of those changes things, but I'm not disinterested in seeing them, right? Like it doesn't seem like there's a big risk at this point for the offense going downhill, which is initially why you don't make those changes, right? But at this point, when they say it can't get worse, whatever, maybe it can, but there's not a huge risk at this point in making some of those changes.
I would agree.
Or trying them even.
Now, I'll throw you a scenario. Again, this is just me spitballing. This is just a scenario, but looking ahead to next week against USC, your options are a Dylan Raiola who is 75%.
Mm-hmm.
Versus any of the other three quarterbacks who we would presume are much closer to 100%. Certainly, I would think Kalen and Gramstad because they haven't played at all. Harburg as well. Who would you rather see play quarterback in that scenario?
I mean, I don't know anything about where Danny Kalen is right now, so I can't form an opinion as to how he would do.
Sure.
Jalen Gramstad, I've seen play actually more than probably anyone has at the NAIA level, weirdly enough. So but I don't know how that translate over. So I mean, Harburg's got the experience, and again, I am trying hard not to be the stereotypical put the Nebraska guy in, because I'm not that. But I mean, what do you guys think? I thought he was making some throws that Dylan wasn't even trying on.
He has starting experience. He's not
starting experience, and he was trying throws that Dylan wasn't even trying on that last drive.
Well, his career record as a starter is 5-3, and Dylan's is 5-4.
Yeah, if I were to make the decision with the quarterback, I'm with Jack. Like, I don't know enough about the other two. Yeah. I would go with Harburg. It just would. I mean, he has a big body.
I just wonder, because this will be something. Because we have
how
no
healthy
idea.
is he actually going to be?
At very least, how healthy he's going to be. But I would assume that it's he's been pretty roughed up this year. That he will not be at 100% next week. Not that many people are at this point in the season, but there will be some limitations that he will face.
Guys,
the question is, where's that threshold of having him out there is going to do us good or do us harm?
Well, at very least, if you're going to bring Harburg in occasionally, goodness sakes, put him in at quarterback, do it more often, have some plays where he's handing it off or pitching it or throwing the ball, so they've got something else to worry about with those plays. That's been the biggest missed opportunity with that whole thing. I haven't been begging them to do it, but if you're going to do it, and they did it again where they threw him at running back, right? Like, put him in at quarterback, put him in at straight up quarterback, and give him, and make it, and have some plays where he doesn't carry the ball as a run, right? Yeah. And that's not that one trick play they run like 5 times a year. that they scored on Minnesota, and now it's like their bread and butter. It's the most frequently run play this year.
And it always gets 10 yards, haters. Suck it, haters.
It's got a touchdown.
One of these haters on Saturday, and he was like, I don't like this play. And it's like, it got him a first down.
Can you remember?
Don't run that play to get 10 yards.
Can you imagine?
That is ridiculous. That you got to run a throwback to get you 10 yards.
John, the offense blows. You got to do what you got to do.
Okay, well, then you know what? Here's what we should do then. Pitchy, woo-woo. Hey, that's what the new offense is. It's pitchy, woo-woo. Well, just start laddering it around everybody.
Or just bombing it.
The trick play.
You say laddering it around everywhere?
Lateraling it around. Not laddering it.
Interesting.
It's not a ladder, it's a lateral.
Can you imagine in game number 1 of 2002, Frank Solich comes out against Arizona State with Jamal Lord, third quarter, and runs black 41 flash reverse.
Hey, it worked.
Right, and throws it to Jamal Lord and runs it another 3 times during the season.
That would be awesome. That would be great.
All that effort for
a first down.
Oh, first down.
That's another Husker.
I can't believe you're defending that.
Hey, they got to get first downs any way they can.
Maybe they need more of that play.
Not to lie, John. God. Do they need to gain yards to score?
God.
You can't run that as your base offense.
It's worked so far this year.
Oh, dear good Lord.
It's amazing that play has not had a catastrophic result.
This is what's wrong. We need to ban all video games. This is why. This is the video game culture coming to life. Let's just run pitchy, woo-woo. It'll work.
It's worked. They've won it, 3 times this year, and it's gained 10 yards every time. That's a pretty good hit rate in my book. Bread and butter, baby. That's Nebraska's bread and butter. Jack, some great responses from today's conversation with you. Aaron and Papillion writes, Happy New Year.
That's not how that works.
That's not
unnamed responses. Finally at Jack's interview. This rules. I want Jack Mitchell to do cocaine and see what happens. This is my most favorite Jack interview ever.
Let's go.
Another person
never done it.
Jack is a strange man.
See,
yep, and there you go. Oh, and Andrew writes, it sounds like the football team finally broke Jack. Yeah.
Oh, that's happened many times over the last several years.
Yeah, the fan base is what's breaking Jack.
Jack is the Humpty Dumpty.
It's all of it.
And all the King's horses and all the King's men put him back together until he falls down again.
I'm broken. I can't do this. I can't do this 3 losses to end the season. I can't do it. So I am not believing. What'd you say?
It'd be 6. You'd have to add the first 3.
The additional 3, whatever. You know what I mean? I can't. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Are you just going to log off the internet? Like if that happens, or are you
just
done?
Maybe move. I'll see if I can get my family to move.
Interesting.
But the internet follows you.
It's not happening. That's not happening.
Move to.
By the way, I just need to warn you ahead of time, Your Highness, that let's say they get the one more win.
Hell yeah, they're back.
Then guess what the conversation's going to be like? It's going to be, well, but man, they were 5-1 and they managed one more win.
I can live with that.
We're going to Detroit.
Whatever. I can live with that.
Just preparing you for what's to come.
I can listen. That won't. You're right. You're right. But I think I can bear that.
Okay.
And especially if it's a win against Iowa or Wisconsin. So I can absolutely bear that.
YouTube user here for Jack moving his family to Italy. You love the pizza in Italy, Jack. You famously were a huge fan of the place where pizza was born.
Things that can fall off of pizza if you barely touch it shouldn't be on pizza. And that goes for Italy and it goes for Casey's. Both of you.
Wow, interesting.
I never had issues with things falling off.
No lettuce or lettuce adjacent arugula products should ever be on pizza. No one should need to be explained that. Again, Casey's in Italy. Handshake with those two.